People with disabilities make up between 20% and 25% of people in Los Angeles. Whether they were born with a disability, whether they have a temporary disability, whether they acquire disability with aging. Disability is one of the greatest intersectors of all other parts of society, whether it's race or gender or sexuality or age. There are people with disabilities literally in every other grouping of people, right? And it's somehow, even though that's true, the rights and equality for people with disabilities is still too often an afterthought. Every time we try and address an issue like housing, we need to be talking accessibility. Every time we address an issue like the digital divide and people not being able to afford internet access, we need to be talking accessibility. Every time we talk policing, police need to know how to talk to deaf people, how to work with people with mental health issues, right? Everything we do that's a public policy issue in the United States of America, really globally, needs to be and is an accessibility issue. People understand that there is a compliance, a regulatory legal requirement to make things accessible, and that's the ADA, and this is the 35th anniversary of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. That requirement exists, but also we have a moral and ethical obligation to literally make every program, every service, every facility of the city of Los Angeles accessible and inclusive to people with disability. We've done some incredible work on that. We've gone really far, but we still have a long way to go. Disability Pride Month is so important because, again, we're trying to change attitude and understanding. People with disabilities historically have been treated with something we call the medical model, that there's something wrong with you and it's something that needs to be fixed. And we've fought a long time to move to something that's more of a social model, which is, I have a disability, it's part of who I am, maybe I need care or treatment for it, maybe, but it's not something I'm unhappy about. It's not something I'm sad about. It's not something that's literally bad about me. It's a key part of who I am, just like any other sort of, demographic descriptive of who I am. So as much as I'm a black person, I'm a person with a disability, right? As much as I'm a senior now, I'm about to turn 60, I'm a person with a disability. And that energy, that sense of, not only am I not embarrassed by a disability, I'm proud of having a disability. It's part of who I am, and it helps me build the community around me. The deaf community is an extremely strong community, deaf and hard of hearing community, the blind and low vision community, strong community. People with developmental disabilities, for example, strong community there. But we also want to be part of really everyday society, and particularly civil society. And so access as part of equity, sort of fairness. We can't really have a seat at the table if we literally can't get to the table. So Disability Pride Month is so important to us. I'm so glad the mayor has really tied for Los Angeles Disability Pride Month with the 35th anniversary of the ADA, tied also with the games that are coming to Los Angeles, the Olympics and Paralympic Games. Working all together, we can really make that kind of change. When Mayor Bass announced a formal city commitment to accessibility ahead of the games, that goes miles to show that this is an absolute city priority. That's a game changer for us.
We are developing and overseeing in the city the implementation of a games accessibility plan to ensure that every city department prepares for the games in a way that is efficient and accessible to all Angelenos.
Yeah.
I very much hope that the next 3 years will be focusing on preparation for those games in a way that will leave a lasting legacy for generations in the development of our infrastructure, improvements to our public right-of-way. That's a commitment that the mayor made today, and it's a commitment that we're going to fulfill over the next 3 years.
Myself, as someone who had an orthopedic condition that was visibly in my legs from age 2 to 12 until I had a major surgery, I know exactly what it's like to face mobility challenges.
We have our partners here from LA 28, making sure that we continue the conversation of accessibility as we build out these facilities.
So LA has seen its third Olympic Games. This will be our first Paralympics. But it's not just the first Paralympic, it's going to be the largest Paralympics the world has literally ever seen. And so this is our opportunity to shine, looking at great work that's happened in Paris, great work that's happened in London, and truly make the Paralympics as big an event as the Olympics are. So people know to always say the Paralympics and the Olympics. They are extraordinary, independent events that tie together. And I think we're going to see a different Los Angeles before you get to the Games. Understanding access and inclusion is a struggle for a lot of folks. A lot of it is just awareness, but it's getting people to sort of stop, stand back, and think about the privilege most of us have in accessing places. You want to tell us to walk over there to do our next piece? Most of us can walk over there and do it. We need to think, wow, did I have to step up steps? And is that the only way to get into this restaurant? Is that the only way to get into this pool, right? Are locker rooms accessible? If we can get people's mindset to really be aware of all the barriers that are constantly around us, I think we can really change the game. We work with every single city department. We're trying to create a world where every department knows that all their programs and services and facilities need to be accessible, that they will own that. They will make it accessible, and if they can't make it accessible, they will still try and serve every client with disability to the best of their abilities, and if they need technical assistance from us, then we can follow up and provide support. Our goal is to normalize. I mean, I like that word because in disability culture, the word normal is usually a bad word because it gets compared like people with disabilities aren't normal. But normalizing accessibility, normalizing inclusion is our goal. True equity, inclusion can't possibly happen for most people with disabilities if literally people with disabilities cannot get into the spaces they need to be in. So literally getting in the door, getting down the sidewalk, getting on the bus, getting on the train, getting the message, getting the announcement that the meeting's happening. All these things are about access. And if people have that access, they then have the greater capacity to actually build true equity. It's something, again, that needs to be built into everything we do as a city. LA has the capacity, easily I would argue, to be the most accessible big city in America. Now, I don't know that we're not, because I have a running competition with my partners in New York, Chicago, Boston, and San Francisco in particular, for us all competing for the most accessible big city in America. But we're not there. None of us are there yet, right? And all those cities are so very different. We have different challenges. But we get together every month and we talk best practices. We talk about what we can do, that every new building that's built, every sidewalk that's repaired, every new housing complex that goes up, building new housing because of the horrible fires we had last January, that everything we can make accessible is accessible from the get-go. It's part of the planning. It is not an afterthought. It's not something to be fixed or remediated. It's done right in the first place. And honestly, I think the Games are going to bring the resources and the attention from the world and the attention for all Angelenos to these kind of issues that we can really change that dynamic in ways that have never happened. So I do think after the Games and perhaps that decade after, we're going to see a Los Angeles that is truly accessible and inclusive for all. And that's absolutely my goal. So many things that were created for accessibility are things that are just absolutely common and serve everybody in community. So curb ramps at the corners or in front of a supermarket help people with shopping carts, people with baby carriages, right? It's not just for people with disabilities. Voice to text, right? That's something that most people on their computers are using all the time, certainly on their phones. That was created as an accessibility accommodation. I think it's safe to say literally every accessibility accommodation that's been created ultimately gets absorbed by general culture as something that is just helpful and good for everyone. So if people could recognize that, if we reduce barriers, it makes our communities, our landscape better for everyone. The Department on Disability is heightening our technical compliance work. That's literally evaluating every building that the City of Los Angeles owns or operates programs in, evaluating them for accessibility. I think we're up to 10,000, 15,000 by now. And then creating a plan, a transition plan that will actually be a multi-year plan to actually repair, to fix all those barriers. So that's a key program that the department is working on. You can reach us through our website at disability.lacity.gov.